I'd like to call the Board of Works meeting to order. Phyllis, if we could have roll call, please.
Craig Koshaw.
Here.
Bill Carbach.
Here.
Ken Meyer.
Here. First thing on the agenda I'm going to have this evening is, you emailed a copy of the minutes from our July 18th meeting. Have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. Now, first thing on the agenda. Barry, you want to come up, and anybody else that needs to come up with Barry? This is about the Adams County Regional Sewer District and 8 accounts that the city currently collects sewer fees from, but they're all located in rural areas. Bill and Craig, are you guys either one familiar where we're talking about?
Yep.
I think you both are, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
With some little map there as well, it shows them. Well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks, Kevin.
So, we have two options. We keep them on the city, or we turn them over to the county. And in doing so, I think what Kevin has made here on a spreadsheet shows each of the homeowners and what their monthly average bill was last year, in the year 2016. And what's the next? The next one would be the income that the city. The total. That'd be times 12. Okay. And then the total at the bottom of that column would be how much we brought in on those 8 accounts last year. Then the right-hand column would be if the Adams County Regional Sewer District, we changed their billings over to the county. For example, the top homeowner there, his monthly bill would go up $31.32 over the average fee that we've been charging him.
Correct.
And yes, as you look down through them, the ones that do not have meters, they're paying a flat rate. Theirs goes up very minimally. The person on the bottom, his goes up $49 a month. So, 49 bucks a month times 12 is like over 500 bucks additional to him. That's if we turn it over to the Regional Sewer District. And Barry, if we turn it over to you guys, the fact that they have a meter, there's nothing you can do. Everybody pays the same. Is that correct?
You gotta just, and I'm gonna point some things in favor one way, but I'm not leaning that way. What you don't know in that factor is, if they got a sump pump running into it, and I know Verlin has told me, and the guys have said whenever it gets wet weather, that pump out there was flooding, wasn't keeping up. So that's telling me right then and there that there's infiltration in those pumps. What we're doing to the district, and I've been inspecting the last 4 or 5 working days, we've got that turned on out there. We go all the way to the sump pump and make sure the sump pump's not pumping in, because every customer in our district, it don't matter, there's 300 or 233 accounts. If there's 1 million gallons, it gets divided by 233. So we're trying to keep the gallons down. And even if we do take it over, if you guys folks decide to turn it over to, I'm still going to want to inspect and make sure the sump pumps aren't pumping in. We've ran into some small leaks, infiltration, but we are completely switched over. Your pump station is out of, only thing there is the telephone pole that used to be there. Everything's gone.
And that particular pump station's doing these homes and all of Monmouth?
Everything goes through our lift station now, even the 8 business, or the 1 business and the 8 homes, or 6 homes, whatever it is. I'm not here to say you should give it to us or not give it to us. It's going to be a little tougher to come up with a conversion to know. I can't go personally, I can't speak for the district totally, but I am in this aspect. We can't go on what that water meter reads as what their gallons use. And the city, in some ways, probably shouldn't have either, because that's what's coming out of the well. You don't know what the sump pump's pumping. You don't know what, if they got infiltration hooked up, if they got downspout hooked up to it. It seems like I've been monitoring our lift station with only your pumps, or only your customers on it, and it started out at
6,000 gallons a day,
over 6,000 gallons a day. I've got some leaks located, and I guess I don't want to say it this way. I've spent some money. I put $1,500 in removing one issue where I know there was water running into it, in one of the taps. But what I'm getting at is it's going to be hard to really know how many gallons, how much, we can come up with 400 gallons now, as of yesterday was not quite 400 gallons per home running into it.
After that leak was fixed, it went from 6,000 gallons a day to 3,000 gallons a day.
Really?
Through that.
Yeah. So it don't take much, and plus it hasn't rained since we've been doing this. I'm not saying there's any wrong hookups, but what we're doing is the contractors can't even cover the pipe up. We're inspecting it and cameraing it, and everything that we're putting in is new. So we're trying to keep, because our bill is going to, how much water you guys get depends on how tight we are with our inspections.
Yep. Kevin, you and I have talked a little bit, and we've talked a little bit. You're both in favor of turning it over to the county, correct?
Well, I'll give you a little more. The pump station that they took over, and they put the new pump station in, they're paying about $1,500 a year just in electricity for that pump. That's not including maintenance or that lift station. So that's saving us at least $1,500 a year by them taking that over and by building a new one there. And if we were to keep them, we would have to, I think he mentioned this, we'd have to come up with some sort of conversion or discount on what's coming through that meter on what we're already charging the homeowner.
So, in my part there on that, I'm going to jump in on this, is it's going to be hard, because no matter if we think it should be this much, I don't want to get into that situation. We work with you guys. You guys we're paying you to treat our sewage. We don't want to get in, and how we come up with a number, that's a trap shoot. I mean, that's going to be throw a bottle in the air and hope it lands on the soft dirt, because, for 7 customers or 8 customers, it's going to be, I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to be upset if you guys keep it. I'll have to go back to my board, and they're going to have to come up with a gallon amount or something to come up with as far as a deduction from what the meter reads.
Well, if we turn it over to the county, in which I want to support Kevin and Ann and Jeremy and Don and everybody else that's involved, but if we turn it over to them, we're going to have 4 probably pretty angry individuals, right?
And one thing with that, Terry Meyer's the one that installed all that to begin with. And so, and also all the ones that are metered have bought meters from the city are about $200 a piece. But that was all privately done. And as far as I know, it's all privately maintained.
Yeah,
if it's maintained at all. But
we have an option to get. They're going through the woods. They just drilled through the woods on their own, and that. I mean, you don't need knowing. I mean, we have an option to run it back around to the intersection of 900 and 000 and get it out of that woods. Because if you'd ever have a leak in the woods, there's no way of getting equipment back in there to fix it.
The church, is that the Monmouth School?
That's Monmouth, yeah.
Okay.
And then that one, that O'Connell's right across the street from Monmouth.
Fellas?
Well, my feeling on the whole situation is these 8 homes actually fall into your sewer district, right, Barry? And since they're falling into your sewer district, and since you're taking that whole area over, I would think it'd be only fair that those people would convert over to they're using your pump station
our electricity.
and your electricity and everything. I mean, to me, it'd only be fair that they would fall over into that sewer district and pay that sewer district's rate.
Barry, have you talked to these people at all to
No,
give them an idea of what's coming?
Not my place yet to talk to them. I think we should, or someone should, or we should. I mean, like you said, there's going to be 1, 2, 4 of them that are not going to be. I mean, probably thrilled, but they got to understand too that we can't go by meters for them.
So the second one there is $33.98 difference. That, the person in the red, that
Tom
he's,
lives there.
he rents that?
I believe so. It's in his name as far as the...
Okay, he rents that. I agree. I mean, it's in the sewer district, and it really needs to go to the sewer district.
And when they started with this metering program with the city, there was no sewer district.
No.
So this,
Well,
I mean,
it was coming.
mean,
They're going to want to be grandfathered or something. That's the term they'll probably use, but there can't be any such thing.
My understanding, I'm not sure if that's correct, but that was their only option. I don't know if the land out there didn't perk out for...
No, because like Aaron Baker's house there on the corner, had a corner from John Filling there at 900-000. He only got half of the system put in, and now he was waiting for it to be there to hook it up. So that'll be, and there's several homes getting ready to be built out there for that same reason.
There was a problem in Monmouth in that little creek running through there, the sewage
seepage.
that brought that about.
Yeah.
And since our lift station was so close, that was an easy fix for it right there. But that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, it's probably been 8-9 years since Harry ran that line through the
Well, Harry was the last one. I think there were others.
But he paid to have it drilled through there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Single houses was earlier than that.
I think it would be a smart idea to share with these folks that it was discussed, and our goal is to move this to Adams County and table this until they're aware of it, to where they can be aware of it, and if they have a problem, they can come into Board of Works next time and voice, or what do you guys think? It needs to be done. Yeah, they're customers of the city right now, so,
Am I out of line?
in essence, what you're doing is you're jumping their rates by doing what you're doing without them having any knowledge or input whatsoever. That's up to you guys. Do you like that idea?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we alert these folks, either by Barry or both of you, if you could please approach these folks that are going to be affected by this rate increase and tell them the positive and negative about it. And I think it would be a good idea for us to table this until next month till they're aware of it. Are they already aware of it, Barry?
I haven't. I mean,
Kevin?
I was waiting to basically hear...
maybe draft a
And I
letter.
kind of figured...
My personal opinion and the feeling I have is that it probably should be done and moved to the county, but I think the only fair way to handle these people is to let them be aware of it and let them come back to the next meeting and then we make a vote.
Yeah, we
on
could
it.
invite them to the next Board of Works meeting and
Yeah.
Draft a letter stating what it is. It's in, have...
Let them know their rates, what the increases are going to be, and what the responsibilities and how it's going to shift. And I think that we table this, give them a letter, and then bring it to their attention, and then invite them back if they have any problems, because we're going to vote on it next month.
Does that work for you, Barry?
That's fine.
So do you want us to draft a letter?
And try to help answer questions.
You want me to draft a letter to them?
I think it should come with
From
the
us, since
letter,
they're paying,
but you
since they're our customers right
add
now.
my name to it if you,
Okay, maybe I'll do that. I'll put a spot at the bottom forward your name, and you can sign it. Have you stop over and you can sign them too. Okay.
I offered to come just to...
I appreciate it.
Get this, worked out if at all
Yep.
possible.
Yep.
And I do have some things, and they're gonna talk about it on Monroe Street Extended, so I got some things worked
Right.
out for that on that for you.
Does that sound fair to you guys?
Yeah.
Barry?
Barry, you'll
I
It's not urgent that it happens.
I'm okay either way.
be at that meeting.
I think, oh, what's
Correct?
that?
You'd be at that next meeting?
I can come to the next meeting, a lot easier than tonight.
2 weeks, yeah, 2 weeks from tonight, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
And I just had one more quick thing too.
Go ahead.
Outside of that. Currently, the stormwater department is paying sewer department rent for office space at the sewage plant. That is no longer used by stormwater department or Don. So, just recommend we eliminate that rent.
It's $250 a month that
Storm's
that the
paying-
stormwater is paying the sewage department for renting space out there, which is where
That's where
Nate always was,
Exactly.
and that's not happening anymore. So, Phyllis, how do we go about just stopping that?
I just said make a note in the minutes that we're
Okay,
not going to do that anymore.
okay.
I don't think there was anything formally ever written to begin with.
I was gonna say, I don't ever remember doing that.
Your wife then.
I guess when they first built it.
Too bad, Ann. Goes your slush fund. Somebody want to make a motion on that, just we have it in the minutes?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Got motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Next up, Evergreen Assisted Living, Adams Memorial Hospital application for FEMA buyout. Rod, you want to come up also? You may as well. Join the party.
Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Evergreen Assisted Living
Yeah.
has decided they're going to rebuild on the other side of the road,
Correct.
behind Woodcrest area.
That's correct.
And in doing so, they want to take down the current Evergreen Assisted Living.
Correct.
And the best way for that to happen is to go through the flood mitigation buyout program like the city's done on all of the homes.
Correct.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're kind of being utilized because it needs to go through a government agency. We annex that land, it's in the city limits, so that's where the city's role can come into play to work with the hospital on this.
Correct. And the hospital, by conveying the property to the city, that becomes part of the matching gift. So it should be no cost to the city for the tear down or to the hospital for the tear down.
Yeah.
And then I assume it would be turned into some type of a park, especially there around the pond and
To be determined,
the river and
yeah.
back, so yeah, whatever. So,
It's kind of a win-win for everybody really here.
For the rest of you, some of us were at the meeting yesterday, but part of the issue has been that every time we get rain, a lot of rain, there's a lot of sandbagging that goes on just for that, which is costing the city a lot of time, effort, and
EMA?
thank you.
Thank you.
EMA,
Don't point at me.
EMA, a lot of time, effort. They said over half the sandbags they used the last time were used just for Evergreen Court. And I can remember when it did flood back in 2003, it was a mess in there. We had to move residents into the hospital for I don't know how many months. It was a very expensive cleanup. So, yeah.
And when you refer to those last time, you're talking in 15?
15.
Yep, in 15. And Jeremy, you said yesterday in the meeting that all the southern Allen County fire personnel were down here.
There was probably 300 to 500 people total filling the sandbags, placing the sandbags, and manning that facility. We went out roughly about 4 o'clock that afternoon and worked well after dark. It took us all day to fill all the bags. We started at 4 and then 10, 11, 12 o'clock roughly, probably closer to 11 or 12.
And how close did you get, Jeremy?
It was within 6 inches of half the back wing building. I would say probably closer to 4, but I would say within 4 to 6 inches. I watched the building very close because I also watched it in 2003, so we could get quick enough head start on it to get it back because that building is monstrous. You know, you're dealing with the river, you're dealing with water coming from everywhere. If their pond, once their pond and the river becomes one,
You're toast.
it's toasted.
Yeah.
It became one, but we still got to stop. We have people from Monroeville all the way to Southwest Fire District on the southern end of Allen County. Down and helped us with multiple volunteers, personal volunteers, police and fire, everywhere. When we attacked that building, and then also the water treatment facility at the same time. I think it's a win-win for everyone. You know, we're going to eliminate that structure. We're also going to eliminate several other houses in that area that it's going to, in the end, we're going to win.
Yep. Rod explained how this could long-term help the flooding in our community.
And Rod's been very helpful with all this to keep this rolling, so.
Well, from the flood response side, I mean, as Jeremy said, if you can eliminate that building and with the hospital staff and everybody involved that has to respond to that, you're freeing up a tremendous number of personnel that can respond to the other more vulnerable areas in the city.
And at the same time, it gives the river more area to actually freely go and not interfere with anything.
It does.
Would this be in addition to the flood buyout for the homes that we just did? So the next question is going to be from other business owners that say, hey, they're already saying, where's my flood buyout money? When we announce the houses, now the hospital is going to get one.
I can address that very succinctly. FEMA has a prioritization by which we buy properties, and critical facilities rise to the top. And that because this is a critical facility, it rises even higher than the home buyouts. So unless if another business comes and they're not a critical facility, then they would, well, first of all, they'd have to meet FEMA's buyout criteria. Second of all, they would have to be cost beneficial for us to do that.
But this really isn't a buyout.
And that is true.
I mean,
yeah.
Hospitals giving it to the city, what FEMA and the monies are going to do is tear it down.
Sounds obvious.
Yeah, if the hospital wasn't making the in-kind donation match, this project probably, for all likelihood, would not be occurring.
So, I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal from Adams County Health Network and FEMA.
And authorize the city to act as lead agency in seeking the FEMA grant.
And act as the city of Decatur lead agency in FEMA grant.
What he said.
Thank you. And short title?
Short title, Emily.
Do I have a second? It's easy.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Barb, you got all that? You make something up though, right?
Answer, check.
I'd like to add one thing to that. It's not only because of all of these reasons, but also the residents. Because anytime there's any kind of fear of water, it puts them in a real
Stressful.
situation. And these are people of age that really
Wow,
can't
that's
afford
very
to
true.
that.
Very
and
true.
I speak that because my mom lives there.
Yeah,
And,
it is.
the last time there was this possibility, she was upset for a little bit.
I can understand.
So thank you very much.
And Wiley does make a very valid point, because it's not like those people are just taking out their bags and going.
Yeah, right.
Some of them are, you have to physically move them, you know, so it takes hours to be able to make that move.
And what possessions they still have are in there.
Yep.
Correct. And that is all they
know.
mostly have.
Mostly that's what they have, yeah.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Jeremy? A while back, Jeremy came to the Board of Works and told us that Fleming could clear the riverbank between Jackson and Monroe Street on both sides. And I think it was a 3,000?
Yeah, once Greg had the equipment rented for the clearing for the 224 project, I had him look at the riverbank. He was pretty confident that he could clear that while he had a piece of equipment. When Greg left for vacation, the operator got looking at it and basically talked himself out of it. He didn't feel comfortable doing the work. It was kind of wet at the time, and he was really afraid he was going to tear up more than what he was going to, more good than what he was going to do. I spoke with Don right after Don got started working with us, and gave him some projects that's kind of been on the back burner. He came up with a couple quotes to do the project. You guys initially approved $3,000 from the stormwater fund to put towards this project. Obviously, with the extensive clearing, the $3,000 isn't going to quite catch it all.
It's got two estimates here, one from Harlow Enterprises, and they're out of Fort Wayne. Their price was $12,720. The other one is from Works, W-O-R-X, companies out of Fort Wayne, and their price was $8,400, much more affordable. So it's $5,400 more than what we'd planned on, but that is an area that has been turned into a sculpture park, right there on both sides of that riverbank, and we need to get it cleaned up. I said to Jeremy, I said, long term, it'd be nice if we had something we could maintain it with ourselves. And he seemed to think that we could maintain it ourselves once it gets
Once
cleared.
we get it back under control. They will cut the trees and they will put the proper anti-growth stuff on the trees, so it's not so detrimental of they won't grow back. And, Dwight Pierce mowed it at one point until the trees got out of hand, and then he just quit mowing it. I think you're going to see a huge difference if you do mow it aesthetically, and also we can keep a little bit better eye on the sewers and what's actually going into the river.
with the pride we're taking in
Proper inspections.
the pride we're taking in our community with all of the sculptures and having just dedicated that new sculpture park over there, I think we definitely need to move on this.
Do you think it's a good idea to rip-wrap that bank? How far up out of the water do we need to rip-wrap the bank? To where
Once we get it mowed off, we can take a look at that and see if it's...
do you want to tear it like this so we can mow it actually, or what are we going to do?
Let's see what it looks like once we get it cleared off. There's so much growth there that I would hate to talk without looking at it.
Okay.
And could we even do that to the bank as far as, staggered? I don't even know
Well-
if we do it.
We'd have to look at it and see. We do have a mower that mows that bank that Dwight had used in the past, so...
I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Let's go a step at a time here. Let's get
I'm all for it, but it would be really cool if there was any way we could possibly tear that bank to where it would accept the flood and then also be able to be maintained. I've seen that done in county ditches, and that's how they do waterworks, so...
Right.
If you've got an open mind to it, I'm all for it.
If we tiered that like that, and then we get the high waters, would that just tear the heck out of it again, or?
Not if it's done properly. That is
It's the right way.
we call it a staging of the ditch.
Of the bank.
Right.
That's an acceptable.
It's the right way.
That would look better too, yeah. Okay.
I make a motion that we follow through. If you recommend this to be done, I think that...
Don, you know these people, Works, okay?
Do you give it the thumbs up, Donnie? I agree. Let's get it done.
Got a motion, Bill?
Make a...
The additional would be paid out of stormwater.
Got a
I was
second?
going to ask where the money comes.
The additional money would be
Stormwater.
paid out of stormwater
Yeah.
also.
Okay. Sure, I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. I oppose the same. Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy. Phyllis, you want these? Approval for pay app number 11 for Fleming Excavating for the sewer interceptor project. Now, this is pay app number 11 for Fleming. Which includes a few change orders. total amount is $153,899.67. You know how you read this as far as in the scheme of things, where that puts us with him?
Current balance to complete.
Okay, so we still have, he's still 435,000 roughly below where his estimate was for the work, for the construction?
So it looks like.
Okay. 434,914.
Completed today. And this is what we're saying.
And keep in mind, this is just the contractor. This is not AECom. This is just Fleming's portion. So, have a motion to approve this pay for Fleming?
So moved.
Motion from Bill,
Second.
second from Craig. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. That's that. We're moving right along here. Les, would you like to come talk about those flagpoles? Are you prepared? I have the copy of the thing that Jim gave me.
Jim was,
Is he coming?
yeah,
Okay, we can come back to it.
I was gonna bring one, and, you wanna see a pole?
I think they're pretty cool. I saw one. If Jim's coming, we'll just come back to it. Mobility. Ken Dunn called today, just today, and on the two poles where they're going to co-locate, which is the Bowman Avenue by Village Green area and East Monroe Street, just at the east end of the football field across the road there. There's some pictures. AEP has told them that because of where the light fixture is and how close it is to the top of the pole, there's not enough room for them to co-locate on these poles. So AEP has suggested that they put new poles in, taller poles. And he said, I didn't want to do anything without talking to you first. I said, well, I'm glad you called today. We have a Board of Works meeting tonight. I'll run this by the guys. I drew this. I mean, this is a photograph of the pole, the actual pole that he's talking about. There's how tall it is right now, and you see the light is right at the top of it. They want to, it's currently a 24-foot pole, and they are proposing to go up to a 35-foot pole. He said they may be able to get by with a 30-foot pole, but if they're going to put a totally new pole in, they would prefer to go 35 at both locations. Now, what you're going to have there as you come down the street is, you're going to have these lights, and you're going to have one that sticks way up higher than the rest of them, so it's going to look kind of goofy, I think. But
Well, can they locate the light down at the same level?
they would still, the light would still be located down at the same level as the rest of the lights.
Is there going to be another pole,
So
or will they just replace the pole and take it to 35 feet?
They'll replace this pole and put in a taller pole.
and put the light back up there.
And put the light back up at
Same spot.
At the same level, yeah, same
No more
spot.
poles.
Yeah.
Same amount of poles.
Same amount of poles, yeah. Just replacing this pole with a taller pole.
I mean, I wish they would become a chamber member and become part of our community, but
Would this be
I see no reciprocation.
I'll tell him that when I told him I told him
I see no
tomorrow.
reciprocation.
No, these would be wood poles.
Wood, yeah.
Just like the rest of the poles down the street there.
I
He really originally thought he could co-locate on them, but the light itself is so close to the top of the pole, it doesn't give them enough room to do their little...
So at their expense, they're going to raise the pole and put the light back at the same size and stick their
Yep.
tower on the top.
They'll pay for everything.
Can he get by with 30 feet or not?
He said that he may be able to get by with 30,
But
but what his
prefers
company
35.
was proposing was a 35. And I'll be glad to take the suggestion back to him that, hey, if you can get by with 30, we would much appreciate it. I don't think it's going to look goofy with one, because even on top of this then is this little antenna that sticks up another 4 feet. I don't think it'll be so noticeable out at the Bowman Street one, because it's kind of isolated out there by itself, but this is in a row of several poles, right? And all of a sudden there's going to be this one tall one.
Yeah, if you can make that suggestion, I see no problem with it.
There's several suggestions that you can make.
I know.
But yes, if they're going to replace the pole and they need to go higher, in my opinion, they're not adding another pole. In my opinion, I think it's fine. If it gives people cellular or digital connection in that area of town, another 5 feet or 10 feet, give them what they want.
Should I,
I'll make a motion that
do we want to try to get him to only go 30 though?
I think that
If at all
you
possible, go
discuss it
30.
with him, and my opinion is whatever Kim discusses and comes up with.
Yeah,
You
is
give
fine
me
with me.
give me the option to
Exactly.
go either or, but I'll try to
Make
get
a
him to
motion
30.
that if the mayor discusses it with, what's your name?
Mobility.
Mobility, and comes up with the best solution for our community,
Okay.
that you get an opportunity to make that decision. Second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, the same.
There's a few suggestions you can make.
I understand, I'm writing that down here too, I know one of them.
One more toy? Never got it.
Next thing I want to talk about is the old jail property, where the old jail is. When we talked about this briefly before, Don, and maybe I even mentioned this at the last meeting, Don had somebody, who'd you have look at that? Was it Fleming or?
Plumbing and Works Company.
Okay. As for demolishing, taking out the old jail. And they said it'd probably be right at about 100,000. Okay. The commissioners have asked me if we're interested in that property as is. In other words, it cost us $100,000 to get the building out of there. We
Take
would,
the deed?
and they would give it over to us. Now, you know, that's one. I mean, it's a nice location for something. I don't know what, whether it be a park, whether it be a possible relocation of a business that we may have to relocate here one of these days. I just need to know if we have any interest, and so that I can go back to the commissioners with something. That would not include tearing down the building that housed the work release program people.
Right.
But we would inherit that building.
Wasn't there some interest from?
There was interest in putting a halfway house,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it,
right.
in there. Serenity House
Yes.
was the one that they were actually looking at.
What's our timeline on that, Cam?
On letting them know, you mean?
Yes.
They didn't give me a time.
Okay. Discussion.
Come on.
Is Serenity House still interested?
I think I'd go away from that for right now.
Do you know anybody?
Well, this is the
Matt,
jail
you know?
part. That building's gonna be there.
Later.
We're taking it off the county's hands and paying $100,000 to get rid of it.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna get the property, but they're asking us to demolish the building and get rid of the stuff.
And we're always bailing them out. But I see the other side too.
How many acres are we on that property? Do you know, Ken?
How many acres is at the jail site?
Yeah. Is it 4 or 5 acres?
Look on our
I'm sorry to bring that up.
GIS and look at that. Look at that.
The only reason I ask is, if it's 4 or 5 acres of riverfront property, and we're thinking in the future, there's some positive things there. If not...
Oh yeah, I mean, for riverfront purposes, for park purposes, there's a lot of possibilities there. Just,
We're going to get a lot of long-term costs in that, though, if we're going to tear the front half down and we got another building we need to maintain.
another building to maintain inshore.
Is that building even being used now?
Mm-mm.
No, it's
No.
empty right now.
Well, communications is still there currently. They're trying to get...
Yeah. Yeah, Don?
One thing to remember, the back building that isn't included in that demo had some settlement issues. They jacked the floor up once, did all the tile inside. It has settled again, not as bad, but it has settled some more. So it would have to require the floor to be jacked up again.
Is it worth saving, or should it come down too?
I don't know how long it's going to keep doing that.
The print that I seen, there's no extended footer going down on that riverside, and that's why it's doing that.
How close is it to the river, Don?
I don't know the exact footage, but it's close. You can throw a rock at it.
They've had trouble since day one construction with that building that they put on there.
Is there riprap in the bank of that turn on the river at that location? I mean, is it secured? Or does it keep eroding away?
Doesn't erode away, it's far enough away from that, but it's just that it's settling down. They didn't build the foundation properly for the type of soils they had.
To tear down that other back building, is that a pretty good sized building? I have no clue.
No, it's not huge, and it's just blocked. It would go down easy. It's not like the jail where it's full of steel and kinds of weird walls, concrete walls. Yeah, 40 try to get that. Another 40 try to take the back part down.
Sounds like
You see how many acres it
city
is?
owned that, we wouldn't want that back building either.
Well,
We want it for like some sort of park. Relocate another business there,
Right,
potentially.
right. So we don't really want any buildings on it.
Jeremy,
You better.
Have you been in the Mercury's plan?
is there somewhere on here, this is the property tax thing, so it says tax land, there is acreage or anything? Look at that one map.
I don't know if it's, if you go back to...
When I click on the map, it just says Adams County Jail, doesn't it say?
Right.
Here it is. Calculated acreage, 1.23 acres. 1.25 acres.
That work early center's been a problem since day one. Just setting on a bank the way it says there. On that
And that's the back building you're talking about that you might need to take down, so then that would...
So that's gonna be another 40, 50,000 to take that down?
Hold on.
Three-story or what?
It's a single story, isn't it? It comes back there with brick.
I've been friends with Tim Markey for about a year, and Tim's told me a lot of stories about the way that was constructed back in there and the problems that it had.
Jail's full.
Is the...
From day one.
Did you guys have a recommendation on this? Talk to us.
I can delay the commissioners, I mean, for that.
Talk to us, Donnie.
The back building's gonna be a headache ongoing if you wanna try to save it. Although it would be easy to gut it and make it one big room, I'm afraid the foundation's gonna keep, they had trouble with doors even opening. They couldn't get doors to open and shut.
But for the city's purpose, I don't think you want any
It looked
buildings.
like the footer was only about 6 foot on that back side, and the bad flow goes down a lot deeper now on the...
For an acre and a quarter, should we take on this project at 150,000?
Hold on. There's
$1,000?
more acreage than that.
Oh.
It's 3 parcels, that's just the front parcel.
The better part of the lot is where the old original jail was. That's decent property up there. The ground solid.
Up front,
Even
yeah.
where the existing jail is, I think the ground's pretty solid there. It's the back part that they should have never built.
Yeah, the back part, which includes the riverbank.
Yeah.
Our budget here doesn't have
This
150,000.
What?
There.
Our budget doesn't have...
Hey, Don, are there any tanks or environmental issues that would need to
There's
be...
a fiberglass fuel tank that they would remove prior to turning it over to us. The building's clear full of, like, the kitchen is fully still there. They were gonna take all that stuff out of it and sell the stainless line to freezers. You know, I walked in, the air conditioning's still on, the freezers are still on, everything like you just left. And there's nothing in anything.
911's still there.
Yeah, still in the basement. Yeah, but I mean...
Well, why run the refrigerators?
I don't know, I asked that question.
Craig, the back parcel's .88 acres, so it's a
So we're
little
looking at about
over
2
2
acres?
That includes the riverbank and everything that they own.
Department heads got any suggestions on this idea? You got anything to add to the discussion? What do you think?
Tear it down, if you're gonna do it, and it's gotta be worth...
Yeah, but do we want do we want,
So you want to pay that much for however many acres it is?
It's 2 acres,
In town,
Two-
is it worth that?
200 grand
2.5, 2.6,
on the river.
2.6.
What do you think, Tyler? You're grinning.
What kind of money for it first, I guess would be my first question.
well, the fact that it's the counties, we might be able to work out some kind of a,
What do you think, Adam?
negotiate.
Split it with them?
We'll pay half the cost if they give it to us. I like how you think. Kevin?
When you talk about maybe developing that area, aren't you talking about 20, 30 years down the road, or getting down that far down the river?
Possibly another company. More so than
Would you have neighborhood issues?
To do what? Tearing it down. Nothing going in there right now.
No, I mean, anything going back in.
How is it zoned? Is Kurt here? No? Oh, was he looking to see how it's zoned? Yeah.
I would say just get into, have a conversation with the commissioners.
Definitely don't want to zone industrial.
Adam brings up very valid point.
No, they don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want to have to pay the 100,000.
They have a building that they walk away from.
Oh, didn't they have budgeted 100,000?
They had budgeted 100,000 to take it down.
I'm gonna tear it down and then we'll talk about it.
You guys tear it down, then we'll give you 50 for it.
Well, I think we can, like Adam stated, we can legitimately go to them and say, yeah, let's
Okay,
see if we can come to an agreement.
I like that.
I think it's great discussion.
The one contractor commented that, you know, if we look at this, how we, if he could recycle more of it, that price could even get cheaper. You know, if we do it during the winter.
A lot of iron in there.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these contractors, if it's winter work for them, and they can go in there and gut it, and take all the steel and all the wire and copper out of it, he could get, I think the email he said he could work that price a little better.
Well, I know Max Miller at the Historical Society would like to have a spend the night in the jail thing, if around October, so.
It'll still be there. It's not going to be anywhere by October.
Every teenager wants to do that.
Some of them already have. Okay, well, let's just
I say we table it for another
take
week.
that under advisement and let me kind of,
Negotiate.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Les, are you ready now?
Yeah,
You know, we got some new street lights, guys, and, you know, every couple of years, we have to replace the flags, the U.S. flags, and the poles that they go onto the light poles. And Bern, Indiana, made their own little flagpole, and they've shared the idea with Les and Jim. And,
Steal Jim's thunder. He's not here yet.
well,
We got all this, this is kind of what was budgeted. We come up with a quick budget. And what they are, you know, right now we're using,
thanks, Adam.
right now we're using dowel rod and stapling the flag to a dowel rod, varnish the rod and rubber dip the end, but this is what Bern Legion had made up. It's just keep conduit. They brought a double Romex connector to the little washer there. The whole idea is this will spin, so instead of the flag
Tangling.
getting continually wrapped around the stick, this just spins. And we come up with a little easier idea, roll pin in the washer, so cane stopper. So they're about, I think, the budget that Jim did the figures on, we have a total of 49 poles. There's 2 flags per pole. The cost for the new holders, so that we would put them on all 98, would be right at $5 each. We would
we could make them at the station. And then 2x3 flags are approximately 18, which is 1764, plus the militaries. So the total package, if we were to do them all, would be 2464. We figured, you know, if we budget somewhere around 2,800 to do it. Guess the question is, if you decide to do it, where do you want to put it?
In the budget.
In the budget overall. I mean, you could put it in, you know, put it in the mirrors or wherever. Just my thought is, this is kind of our project. We maintain them. We are the ones that, you know, make sure that when the stick gets broke or pick them up or whatever, you know, if council didn't care, I could put it somewhere in the fire's general budget. That way we wouldn't have to get with the mayor to, hey, we need to order a flag, we need to make a new pole. We would have the money earmarked and line item specifically for the downtown flag project, and but that's, I would need to put it in somewhere because it's you know, it's going to be a...
Get up here, Jim.
It's going to be a ongoing, but, you know, just if you like that, and if we needed to, I think we could even, maybe the best left galvanized the way they are, but we could paint the conduit.
Probably paint black to match the...
You know, we could do however. But this is a lot easier than this, but it's the same concept. And
Jeremy, they're talking about putting these on your light poles. What do you think?
so it's just it would just be a matter of whether you want
When you
to
said
put it...
Vern is already doing this,
Burn in Geneva, yeah.
are already doing it, and they like it.
Yeah.
They've had good
We have a
luck.
lot of trouble with our sticks breaking off in the high winds and everything. They said they haven't even had anything blow out of the holders.
And it is, I mean, it's pretty heavy if you,
Have you tried them on the new poles?
you know.
Do the new
I don't
poles have folders for those?
Huh?
Or you have to put folders on?
Yeah, they came with.
They came with...
We ordered them with the flag holders.
Just 2 pieces of conduit back down if you want. When you set the roll from the bottom, that's how they made them, except the electric conduit on the other one.
Jim, would that go over what the holder is,
Yeah,
or
that's
fit inside the holder? Correct.
Conduit's the same size as the dowel rod you were using, right?
Yeah, the conduit is the same size as the current dowel rod we're
Yeah.
using.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll fit the holders.
Careful there, Tyler.
Yeah.
They do have some weight to them, so.
And it's just a matter of whether you want to put it in somewhere else in the general budget or you want us to put it in ours. We would need to adjust ours.
Are you wanting to put it in the 18 budget? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Add it to your 18 budget?
Yeah.
I like it.
So, I mean, we could add it in wherever Phyllis would suggest, 429, 444.
26, what, 24, 26?
2464, but I think we ought to budget a little bit more than that, so you have
I think,
extra.
yeah, and I think,
Yeah.
you know, maybe
28.
28 would be, Phyllis, where would be the appropriate place to put it? 429, other equipment, 44, that's usually asset stuff. So, supplies, 423.
Other supplies,
Would that work?
429, I think it is.
429. So tonight, as you go through our
Budget,
general,
we'll add that.
we would need to add 2,800 to that line item unit.
Add 2,800 to the fire.
To the fire
And you
department.
said you'd paint those black?
Yeah, we can do them black.
And we can make them during the work day. so
Did
there's
Vern and Geneva paint theirs?
They did paint theirs.
They did paint theirs?
Yeah.
Did they even paint the plastic sleeve thing there? Or just the...
They didn't paint the
I
plastic.
don't think they painted the plastic sleeve.
They paint the conduit. Okay.
So,
We also have them trouble with them wrapping up a lot, and they said they noticed there's a big difference if they don't
They
wrap
spin.
up all the time, so.
Yeah,
Anxious to see
they're
how
free
they do.
floating.
And I think it may prolong the life of some of the flags if they're not getting wrapped around the stick and snapped and, you know.
Agreed.
So,
Need a motion?
well, I guess we'll put it in the,
We'll just approve it whenever they put it in their budget.
What's the calendar?
In the next meeting.
Phyllis?
429, is that where you want to be
I thought there's
there?
a
These bigger flags?
That'd be the best place?
2 by 3.
The other ones don't.
What's that?
429 is the best place to
No,
put
the
it?
2 to 3 that we have.
We got a place to hang those flags?
You had to bring in a
Light poles?
dilapidated looking flag there, so.
Yeah.
We got a place to hang these flags, all these new light poles?
Yeah, there's a,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a
we already
They're already there.
All right.
Yeah, the brackets are there for the flag poles, and I think the brackets are there already for the banners as well.
Yeah.
We ordered them that way, so.
I haven't seen anything for the Christmas lights. Hey, Jeremy, is there a bracket on those new light posts for the Christmas lights?
No, you have to remove your existing brackets, put on the new poles. We'll have to have a conversation about that for now in November, because we are short of poles, to see exactly what you want.
Where we're gonna put them, yeah. Okay. Greg, did you do any math back there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we'll get to you here in just a second, if you want to kind of join our discussion. We recently read in the paper about the county investing a lot of money in their IT department and the security of the internet and the email. And Mike Brown met with Phyllis and I today, and
Might as well have lessons here too.
yeah, Les, might as well come back up. You're back there, Les. And he met with Phyllis and I, went over the things that we would be using here at City Hall and at the street garage and the waste treatment plant. And then he had another meeting separately with the fire and police. And there are a lot of different things that go into keeping you safe. The first thing that he told us about was something they call, it's a company called Mimecast, M-I-M-E-C-I-S-T. And that is they would buy that and get the user license per computer, and that completely protects you on, like if, say, you get someone sends you a email that's spam or dangerous, it would intercept it before you even receive it. Every email goes through this thing before it comes to you. And it would intercept anything that's bad and put it in a thing he called a sandbox until it was broken apart and realize whether or not it was safe to come to you. He said this is like the highest rated security company out there, whatever, and per user it would cost us $71.40 per computer. Then we go to exchange server fees, $4.06 per user. Storage for data, and this would only be for email only, $12 per computer. Firewall fees, and he said the firewall would be a top-of-the-line type firewall. He says if you go with another internet provider, whatever, they're going to tell you they got a firewall, but he says it's not going to be anywhere as good as
He
this.
said it took the company 3 weeks to install, just the firewall.
Is this per annual basis?
This is annual basis per computer,
Okay.
$11.11 for the firewall. Then the internet fee, based on normal usage per user per year, $12 a year. And then security charges, which software licensing and monitoring per user per year, $85.71. So that looks like a lot of different charges, okay? And you add all that together, and somewhere, I think I brought it with me. Or did you bring it?
I've got one here if somebody wants to share.
Here it is. If you take all those fees that he just said, the $71.44, and you add all that up, it comes to $196.28 per computer. Now, we have approximately 40 computers in the city system, but some of those our police computers, so you can take out some of those. So we're probably going to end up with 25 or so computers at $196. I didn't do the math. I did it on 40 before I realized we'd have to be taking out police because they would have their own. But with 40, it was $7,851 a year to have the county secure our email and internet. And, you know, when I first was looking at all these numbers, my first thought was, geez, we can surely buy this. We can surely get this outside cheaper than that. But when you total it all up, it's not that bad. I mean, I emailed the mayor of Wabash, asked him who they're using. He gave me the name of a company in Bluffton. He's paying $20,000 a year for their computers at City Hall. So while it looks like a lot, in the scheme of things, when you add it up and break it down, it isn't that bad. Now, with Greg and Les, you see a lot of other things listed here. Almost all these things the police would need.
Whereas on the budget, what are they talking about then?
Greg, go ahead.
Just for the IT portion here, which I've put together, it's email, internet, and phone, all total. For 2018, just to get it up and running and to have everything, it's $14,531
For the police department?
for the police department.
Basically, how many users do you have, Greg?
20.
You have 20 total users. That's the patrolmen, sergeants, detectives, you and Mike.
And two IT,
And two
admin.
Right. Gotcha.
That's just for, yes, the IT, the email, the internet, and the phone. After that, it's a maintenance every year of $9,300. So get it up and running and everything moving, it's $14,531.
Okay, so the first year it's more, then after that, the maintenance each year is 9,000 something?
Yes, about $9,300.
Okay. Now that's
Just
the county's
the IT.
IT protection for the police.
Now,
Less. Yours wasn't near as much, right?
No, because he doesn't have near the usage that we have.
Well, and right now, we pay a domain host. I think it's $250 annual fee. So our Decatur Fire website is, www.decaturfire. All of our email addresses are first initial, last name, decaturfire.us. So, and I get, for that $250, I get, I believe it's up to 20 or 20 plus domain name decaturfire.us. So I would not be inclined to move to the county's internet, or the county's email, but I do get my internet from the PD wirelessly through an antenna. So there would be, like, my whole 10 connectable devices. If you look at the list, all I would need would be the firewall fees per user per year at $11.11, and the internet fees per connectable device per user per year. So I'm looking at $250 for internet.
Now, we want to, tonight, as we go through the budget, we want, I don't want to make any decisions tonight, but we need to add some money to our budget for next year for security, okay? So we can budget it a little high. We can still shop this on the outside and see if we can find something compatible for less. But for purposes of budgeting for 18, we need to kind of take all these totals and throw them in here. In addition to that, there's that, what'd you call it? RMS, which is another whole, that's another police and fire thing that they're connected with the county on. And go ahead, guys.
Well, what I might add also, while we're on the subject of the internet and the phone and everything else, another thing you have to consider too is that the IT would take care of labor.
the monies that we're talking here are strictly, they're not making any money. These are strictly licensing fees. So we are not paying anything extra to the county. It's what is all included for a user. So anything that goes wrong, anything that is done through the county, their IT people can work on that. And if you have anything like this outside of this arrangement, you're talking a couple $100 an hour for somebody to work on something. So and not that it's a behemoth of things going on, but there's quite a few things that they're always working on.
And my understanding from Mike today was it was any kind of software issue. I mean, it wouldn't be if the hard drive crashes. That's on, that's an additional cost. But any kind of software maintenance or if it's not updating right then they'll come in and help you through that.
What was it called? Minedex or whatever at the top there?
Mimecast.
Can you see?
Mimecast.
Mimecast. That keeps everything that goes through your email in a cloud-type system for up to 99 years.
And here's something I didn't understand, too, for what it's worth. If you go out and buy a computer and you have them load it with software, such as Office and whatever your operating system is, if that computer breaks, everything else breaks with it. You don't get anything else. I mean, so if you throw your computer away, you're throwing your licensing away for that computer. Everything is for your personal computer. Going with this, it's an open license in that
when you replace the computer,
when you're become one of the users, anything that's within that contract that they have with whoever, it's like it includes all the updates, all the peripherals and the software and those things that go with it. You don't have to do that every time you buy a computer. If one of our computers goes bad, you just load it up on another one, okay? And there's no fees. So because that's included in that licensing. But if we go out as a private individual and buy a computer and have that put on it, if the computer goes bad, we have to go out and buy another computer and another bunch of programs. We can't use the old programs and transfer them to another computer. So there's quite a bit of savings there also.
Mike Brown is really, I think, doing a great job for the county.
He really does. I can't.
Guy's super intelligent.
He's over my head most of the time.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. Yeah.
Way over my head.
Well, we're kind of looking at, I think, 3 different things. We're looking at, which we found out from Mike today, we're looking at what do we do with internet and like with me with phones. And I guess when it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, because we went with the county phone system. And, Phyllis will remember that my phone bill at the fire station was nearly $260 a month. When we went to the county, it's what, $90 a quarter? Now we did have some buy some equipment. Well, now today Mike's like, well, I'm not sure we can maintain your equipment. They want to get out of the phone business if it's not their stuff. So now I'm kind of stuck with, I don't even have a phone line in the building anymore. I mean, it's all through, it's through the phone or through the internet. So, now the annual fee is relatively inexpensive, $9.52 a year. But now I'm going to be faced with, if Mike and Bob can't make
our phones
and probably Ann's phones work compatibly, I'm going to have to buy equipment. So, so I got that. And then the internet, which is not really a big deal, those would be 432 account, the 432 account, but it's the equipment. Then the mobile data is completely a separate animal in itself.
I used to think it was all combined, but it really isn't. You have IT, and then you have our record. For us, it's record management system, which is kind of like another vendor.
Yep. Now, for the sake of time and everything, we don't, like I said, we're not going to approve anything tonight. We need to know what we need to add to the budget.
His is different from mine. So
On the mobile data that Shane has been talking in it kind of, I know you're up to speed, Mayor, on the trying to reduce the workload with the dispatch center. So what the county's really trying to do is give us some software and hardware that will eliminate some of that load on the dispatching center and allow them to deal with 911 calls, is what they're supposed to be dealing with in the first place. So for Greg, it's going to be a little bit bigger animal than mine is going to be, but the county is going to go to, and they're going to enhance the dispatching consulate, basically, to make it as simple as I can. They're going to do some upgrades, and they're going to really kind of force law enforcement to start running their own license plates, running their own driver's license numbers, and they're going to eliminate all of that.
we're going to take a lot of the labor away from dispatch so that they have more time for 911.
It's either that, or they're going to hire personnel. Well, if you look at it from the good side, a mobile data terminal, it doesn't have health insurance. It's just there. So I think his concept's right, but he's going to spread the cost out amongst all of us.
See, they have covered that over many years, yes.
Is this going to take care of some of that non-emergency 911
Yes,
stuff?
it's going to take care
The
of
100,000 calls we have a year for the
Yes.
county. Is this going to start scrapping away at some of that stuff?
Yes.
Well, it won't reduce the calls, but it'll reduce the workload on dispatch.
It'll
Is it
allow
going to
them-
shift the calls from
Yes.
county to city?
It's going to shift them to an officer that can
In the car.
pick those calls
Yes
up.
and no.
All right. Now, what about your phone calls or your calls from the police officer in the car for license, registration?
That's what they're talking about.
That'll all be done mobily in the car.
In the car.
All right. So this will create a big savings in non-emergency 911s.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And it'll save us some money on that end.
Yes. Well, because
yeah.
now they're going to, it's all about statistics. Now they're going to be able to answer those 911 calls in a timely manner because they're not running a driver's license
VIN
number
numbers.
or a VIN number.
While other calls are coming in.
And now officers will be able to, there's keys locked in a vehicle at Walmart, which instead of having all this radio traffic, the officer just goes, yeah, I'll take that call, and he hits a button and the light is good.
Mobily.
So we're starting to see some relief on that portion that they're going to ask us for. in the
We're
future.
telling dispatch that we'll take that call where they're calling us, we call them back. So we just do it automatically and it comes up on their screen, they don't have to mess with it. So they'll just know that it's done and
My portion,
it's
which is
efficiency on calls.
my portion, which is like if you look at the fire departments, all 5 of us, and EMS, well, no, EMS separate, but if you look at all 5 fire departments, we are 3% of the total 911 calls for a year. So, and I'm really the only department that is, at the time, right now, going to be able to utilize it 100%. The other departments, I talked with Burns Chief today, he would like that gateway to be open, so that conduit where if he does start to, he uses the same software that we do, so he would have a direct benefit from it. We had a little discussion with Shane, which I won't go into now, but that I'm going to be to be honest, I'm going to be the only user that's going to benefit from this Firehouse interface. Because I'm the only one that's got data there to use. So my portion is basically $13,000 to get started, and then there would be 1 year with no annual maintenance. So in 19, I would have to budget $1,635 for ongoing annual maintenance, licensing, and that sort of thing.
So it costs you a big chunk up front, and then it's just a
Big
maintenance
chunk up
fee?
front, maintenance, and...
Take care of your 3% of the county.
Yeah.
What about you, Greg?
Mine's quite a bit more.
What percentage are you?
I'm in the, I don't remember what it was, I'm thinking 37% or somewhere in that area. So to get us started, and this is just for 2018, we're looking at a little bit over $38,000.
What's the maintenance fee after that?
And the maintenance fee after that would be about $10,203, somewhere in that area.
Okay, listen, for the sake of time, because Tim has some things we need to go over, just when we go through the budgets, if you both can be prepared to tell us how much we need to add.
Totals.
Not that we're going to definitely do this yet, but we want to put it in just as a budgetary, okay?
And I can tell you right now, we're looking at $53,000 for me right now,
Okay.
starting out. And then about a little under $20,000 maintenance every year.
Can I ask a couple questions
Yep,
on this just
yep,
real
yep,
quick?
yep.
So we're going to pay this to the county to do our technical services, per se, and we pay an IT guy from the county?
No,
Don't
it's
we
all
pay his
inclusive.
wages?
We pay a
We have a
GIS
GIS
person.
specialist, which he helps us with some IT stuff, but really his
He
job is
shared.
No, I
GIS.
now.
And he
Nobody.
shared, he works a week for the county and a
Yeah,
week
that's
for us.
shared.
Yeah, he's all the GIS. But,
Okay, and then, does the city not have its own dispatch at one time,
Yes.
yep.
and the county
we
wanted to
eliminate-
take it over,
No.
right?
We
Just
wanted
gave
to
it the county.
eliminate it.
Just clear me up on this.
Yeah.
Quick answer, possible.
Okay.
It was a combination of the county had a program for combined dispatch, kind of like if you're familiar with Fort Wayne went through.
Right.
Okay. Mayor Schultz at that time was on board with that. And there was supposed to be a cost savings to that. And there was, but as technology progresses also, you can't live in the past, and it's like you just got to keep moving forward. So,
We're not spending money on personnel, but we are for,
technology,
yes.
yes.
I mean, we're welcome to go back on our own. Again, we've had some meetings with the county about all this. Just as a-
Regardless of whether we do or whether we don't, they're going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, is this ledger 439, is that what you've already got 10,000 in your budget for...
Are you looking at who, fire or police? What are you looking at?
Well, I'm looking here,
I haven't figured out where it would go into yet.
that was under the police department for your proposed budget.
Yeah. When we get to your part, just be prepared and we'll talk about it then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tim, take it away, some of these things. First, we have a AECom contract.
This is American Structure Point.
Structure Point,
There's
yeah.
4 things, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. American Structure Point is a contract that we entered into regarding the waste treatment plant clarifier rehab. I reviewed this, and there's a couple of things that I would suggest we change. First of all, the way this was presented, it's a short form agreement. They attached, or didn't attach, but provided a letter with the proposal that actually is to be attached to the agreement, because the letter spells out what the services are and what the cost will be for those services. So that needs to be attached as Exhibit A. It doesn't do that, so we've talked to, I think Phyllis talked to Structure Point. They said just email them what changes we want made. And so what I'd like is for the board to approve this, and then I'll email it out. They'll get it back. Ken can sign it then. The second thing would be that in the body of the agreement, they had additional services. It appears that there's going to be some additional services that we will need, but the way it was set up is that we would agree to negotiate what those charges would be for those additional services at a later time. I would rather have those costs known up front, because if you sign the agreement and then we're now going to be negotiating for additional services, we're kind of over a barrel in terms of we're not in a position to really negotiate the price.
Exactly.
So I'd rather know what that is up front. Okay? So I want that attached as Exhibit B. The third thing is I don't have anything in here about e-verification, so I would...
About what?
have e-verification, where they're not hiring illegal aliens.
Right.
So that's something that we have to have in contract, so that would be Exhibit C. So those are the changes that I see that need to be made. Other than that,
we can go forward with this. So if you're okay with, make a motion, and then I'll email that and have them change it.
Tim go ahead and email those, for the changes that he had just discussed. A second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. In the absence of the mayor?
Yeah, you had a majority.
Okay.
Okay.
The second thing is, we had a meeting a few weeks ago with safety park people regarding the safety park, and I think this was discussed briefly at a prior meeting of council or the Board of Works. In essence, what's been done in the past is when the school owned Worthman Field, they had a lease agreement with Safety Park. That lease agreement ran out some time ago. But the deal was that Safety Park was paying for utilities, maintenance and repairs of their property, and then the school was taking care of the rest of it. What Safety Park found out is at some point along the way, the concession stand was tied into their meter. So they've been paying for the electrical use for apparently a number of years. So what they ask is, would the city, now that the city owns it, be willing to just enter into an agreement that the Safety Park will pay the city $1,000 lump sum, and then the city will pay all utilities, rather than try to break this out, and they would continue to maintain and repair Safety Park, but and we would be responsible for insuring Worthman Field, which we do currently. And if there would be ever any taxes, it would be our responsibility because we own the property. So that's the long and the short of it. I just got this done today, so I don't know if we've gotten a chance to have the Safety Park people approve it, but in general, I want to bring it to your attention because probably at the next meeting, we need to get this approved.
What's the monthly utility rate for
the
electricity?
Ken, do you remember?
A month or what?
I thought it was like $1,200.
I think they're paying about $1,200 a year annually. So they're basically saying that they would pay $1,000. And the reason I think it's a little less is because they've been paying the electric for the concession stand, which is probably the biggest part of their electric bill.
Right. So that. I'll make a motion that we. Do you need a motion?
Let's let them take a look at it first, and then we'll act on it next meeting. Okay, on AECom, this is the contract that we have with regard to the Interceptor project. If you recall, Bill Slike was here last meeting. Bill brought up the fact that the not-to-exceed figure for the initial contract had reached a point where he's going to have to charge more, which didn't make a whole lot of sense because it's a not-to-exceed figure. So I asked Phyllis to give me a copy, so I went through it. There is a little bit of wiggle room on their part, but I really think that if the mayor makes a call to AECom and says, look, this was represented to us not to exceed $75,000, we don't feel that we should pay anything more on this.
If you'd like to continue to do our monitoring.
Well, if they're smart, they'll get that message. So we'll follow through on that, but we'll keep you posted. Okay. The last thing, as far as what needs to come before the Board of Works, is if you recall, last meeting it was approved to go forward with refunding the existing 2007 water bond issue. You elected to use Kroll Horwath as the financial advisor and Barnes Sornberg as the bond counsel. I got a hold of Jennifer Wilson, and Jennifer late this afternoon forwarded to me actually two proposals. One is to serve as the financial advisor on the refunding, but she acknowledged that if we're anticipating that we're going to be doing a bond issue in the near term, that some of what they're going to do on the refunding would fit with a rate study, and they're suggesting that they kind of do both concurrently. They think there's probably about a $2,000 cost savings by doing that. So she presented two contracts. The refunding of the bonds, they're going to charge $18,000, And then on the rate study, I gotta try to find that real quickly here.
How much was the refinancing?
If they do the concurrent, the rate analysis as well as the refunding charge was $18,000. The rate analysis, they anticipated would be $12,000 to $14,000, and then presentation to explain and answer questions with the public could be another $2,000 to $3,000. So you're probably looking at close to, on the upper side, $17,000 for the rate analysis and $18,000 on the refunding. If you don't do the rate analysis, then the refunding would be $20,000 is what she said. So, Kevin, I don't know if you have any comments on that or not.
I think that'd be the way to go. I think Philip, they have a pretty good relationship with her, so I think that would be the way.
Okay. If you're serious at looking at, in the near future, considering water projects, for example, a new treatment plant at the well field, if you're looking at upgrading the line from Taze River Field
From Bern
to Decatur to the south plant, and there's some projects within the town as far as water lines. I mean, you're going to have to pick and choose what are the highest priorities. If the cost is so high that the rate jump would be significant, you may want to phase that in and do projects over time. But we're not going to know that until we first get the cost estimates of these various projects, and two, for them to do the rate study to determine what we'd be looking at depending on what we're trying to bond and what kind of debt service we would have. So,
how long does a rate study last? I mean, before that rate study is no good if you're not doing a project within the next...
That's a good question. I think usually at least a year. They look at that as in-time data that you can rely upon. So I can check with Jennifer if you want me to on that. But the way she describes it is that if they're going to do the refunding, then it makes sense to do the rate study at the same time, because it's going to be a duplication of work if you separate them out and do it a few months apart. That's where the cost savings would be.
But you could, in turn, if it's only worth a year and you don't move within a year, you could in turn lose $18,000.
Yeah.
Wait.
And I'll check on that. But, if, I guess I need some direction from you guys. They're talking, they've got it set up, it looks to me, in looking at what she proposed, that the refunding would be done as early as September 12th. So, and I think they're trying to move that because they're trying to take advantage of interest rates.
As far as the new bond too, a lot of that may be determined in the next few weeks with the well out there, so.
How's the drilling coming? They start drilling again?
No, they haven't started drilling yet. We go through IDEM, hopefully here for the next week or so.
You want to let us know that?
Studies get for it.
Yeah, I can. Do you want to hold off on doing this for 2 weeks? Or, it's probably going to push back what they have to do, because there are certain steps that you go through.
There was a deadline on doing the refunding, correct?
The deadline, I think, I don't know, Phyllis, if it's July 1 or maybe it's September 1.
When
But
the payments due?
when you can refund without any penalty.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I know what their plan is refunding it beyond the date that there would be any penalty to do so.
So we need to make a decision?
I would hold on then.
Let's find out how long that rate study would be good, if that's a concern.
Could you go ahead and just move forward with the refunding and then throw in the rate study at the next meeting? I mean, because we're going to refund anyways, correct?
I could check with her. They may be, I mean, if you want to go ahead and approve the refunding engagement letter, and then 2 weeks from now, we can decide whether you want to also do the rate study.
When we have more information?
When you have more information.
Is that we need a motion then? Motion to
Hey, Jim,
approve the...
Yeah.
in September is when when we should know all the details of the next well and what the potential project numbers could be.
Okay.
It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do it now until we know exactly what.
Okay. All right. So what I'll do, I'll talk to Jennifer and just see, you know, if we're close enough in time, maybe not simultaneously, but within a few weeks, can they still give us the, you know, the combined rates? So, but are you ready to move forward with the refunding?
I agree.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the agreement for a fee of $18,000 for Crow Horwalk to act as a financial advisor on the refunding of the 2007 water bond issue?
Yes.
Second.
I have a motion from Bill, a second from Craig. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, the same.
And if you can tie that in with the... and find out the...
Do you have anything
Anything else you got to cover?
Nope. Nope.
I have a motion to adjourn here somewhere?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Wait a minute. I just want to make something a matter of record before we adjourn. I just want to confirm that Josh Butler is now, will be a wastewater department employee starting July 23rd. He began that. He was with the sanitation department. He's transferred. He is designated as operator level 2 employee.
Okay.
And that comes from Ann. So just make that a matter of record.
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. And with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. We are now adjourned.